Nothing, clean. Fucking all of a sudden, fucking 3 weeks, 4 weeks after the fight, oh yeah, by the way, Ryan got caught with steroids. Wouldn't you have found that right away? You know? Especially if you tested before and after. Like, there's a lot of little sketchy things to that. And
Conor Benn shows off body transformation amid weight cut for Ryan Garcia fight. Yes, this is Conor Benn looking lean. Looking very lean, it has to be said, ahead of his fight next month with Ryan Garcia. His first fight at welterweight in over 4 years. Now, bear in mind, he fought Regis Prograis at 150 pounds, not welterweight. And he didn't look good in that fight. Didn't look good at all. He looked noticeably smaller. He looked noticeably leaner. He looked noticeably more lethargic in that fight against a very small chinny who had a body, may as well have been glass, Regis Prograis. And Ben didn't look good. And once again, his power was still nowhere to be seen.
This is my last fight at 147. When I win the world title, I'll move on. But for me, yeah, I haven't made 147 for 4 years, so it's challenging. Don't get me wrong, it's really hard. You think I went up to 183 pounds for the Eubank fights, you know, so it's hard, but, you know, we're getting it done.
Yeah. So after this fight, we'll be going up to 154 pounds then?
154, 160, 168.
I just don't feel like I need to spar a lot, guys. I ain't gonna lie. Sparring a lot is just for people that don't know how to fight for real. I know how to fight. I just think Ben's a bum, bro. So I'm sparring streamers this whole camp. What do you guys think my weight is?
How much do you have to fight at?
147.
147?
Yeah. So I'll be...
How much do you weigh right now?
I don't really disclose it.
Oh, you can't? Oh. Sorry.
What happens when two of the most polarizing, scandal-ridden stars in modern boxing secretly sit down to negotiate a mega fight? The internet completely implodes. Right now, behind closed doors, a massive storm is brewing around a potential clash between Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia. But this isn't your standard championship bout. Whispers of a highly unethical loophole are leaking out, and it has the entire combat sports world on edge. We're talking about a rumored no-test clause, a secret agreement that throws the rulebook entirely out the window.
I guess it's for Conor and for Ryan. Like both of you, there's a bit of history when it comes to the drug testing. Are either of you concerned about the other?
No, not concerned in the slightest. He can do whatever he wants. All I'm doing is focusing on what I'm doing, and I'm going to go in there and batter him September the 12th.
And Ryan?
No, I'm not worried at all. You know, he could be juiced up all he wants. I mean, I'm still gonna knock him out, so it doesn't really matter.
Thank you.
This isn't just a rumor anymore. It's a full-blown controversy hijacking every boxing forum and timeline, leaving fans wondering if the sport is about to cross a line it can never come back from.
And he's everywhere in America at the moment, and for him to be mentioned now by Ryan Garcia, I think whatever he's doing, people might not like it, but he's winning. And I know there'll be some that don't like the fact of what he's doing because of the PED stuff in the past and what happened with Eddie Hearn. He's winning at the moment. And you're right, he probably won't win a world title because I look at his division and all I see is frightening killers. And above him at 154, it's even more scarier. But he will be an exciting fight. So I
understand the sheer audacity of this negotiation. You have to look at the massive baggage Conor Benn brings to the table. His highly anticipated blood feud fight with Chris Eubank Jr. was burned to the ground at the very last second, leaving millions on the table. The trigger was a positive test for Clomafini. That single moment set off a grueling, multi-year legal nightmare. But recently, the National Anti-Doping Panel cleared him, and Benn didn't waste a single second playing the victim. He immediately jumped on Instagram Live, completely unhinged, claiming absolute innocence. He made it clear he didn't take a plea deal and didn't pay a single fine. Then he pointed his crosshairs directly at Ryan Garcia, demanding he step up to the plate and take a beating.
Every sportsman's nightmare?
No, because I thought there may have been an error. I thought, let's run another test straight away. You know, that I've never even heard of this thing before. This is the first time I heard of this.
The drug, which is clomifene, which can boost testosterone levels by up to 50%.
26. I'm 26.
And reduce body fat. Yeah, I'm just saying what it is.
Yeah, so I'm
right?
26. And when people are saying that I may have needed a testosterone booster, I'm 26 years old. I didn't even know what this thing was at the time. So for me, I thought, okay, you know, it may have been, you know, an error or an accident somewhere. We can find out what's happened. And then when I found out that, there'd been a second adverse finding was when I was like, OK, now something's actually wrong. There's something wrong here. And
what are you feeling inside yourself at that point?
Who's done this to me? I genuinely looked around and I thought it was the hardest part of this whole period. Of everything I've been through, this was the hard part, was because I was looking around and thinking, OK, I'm actively taking it. It's actively in something, or something's happened. It's definitely there. And these were the thoughts that were going on through my head. Who's done this?
Do you accept this was in your body?
I don't accept it was in my body, not at all. Based on independent scientists looking at the reports, based on my own scientists looking at the reports, and what we found. People say you may have paid for the best legal team. Damn right I paid for the best legal team. Damn right I paid for the best scientists. My career's on the line. My image is on the line. My name is on the line. And I can't be known for this. And it was more so me employing the best people to find out what had actually happened.
The irony of calling out a suspended fighter is staggering. Ryan Garcia serves his own ban after the biggest victory of his career turned into a complete nightmare. His incredible dominance over Devin Haney sent shockwaves through the sport, but the celebration was violently cut short by a positive test for Osterine. Haney hasn't let anyone forget it, launching a relentless media campaign to strip away Garcia's credibility. He totally rejected the classic supplement contamination excuse, making it clear that avoiding strict testing shows exactly who a fighter truly is behind closed doors.
Can you fight next, though?
Nah, I probably wouldn't have to do it. Here's the thing. I probably said I was going to do it. At the end of the day, this dude, he's going to have to eat at himself for a while, because until he admits that they fucked with my shit or something that was going on, I'm never going to fight him. I promise you. Unless he tells the truth, I won't ever.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, his little brother supposedly knew that I was going to get caught with steroids.
Oh, wow.
They never address it. They never say that. Why would his little brother go on his story and say Ryan Garcia is going to get caught for steroids? How the fuck did you know, right? Tested for 4 months straight, nothing, clean. Fucking all of a sudden, fucking 3 weeks, 4 weeks after the fight, oh yeah, by the way, Ryan got caught with steroids. Wouldn't you have found that right away? You know? Especially if you tested before and after. Like, there's a lot of little sketchy things to that. And like I said, bro, I won't ever fight them again unless they start telling the truth.
Now you have two massive stars, both carrying heavy anti-doping shadows, trying to figure out how to lock horns without the whole thing collapsing.
We saw last night that Ryan Garcia announced his next fight on the Jimmy Fallon show. Well, if you were mean-spirited, you would say that was the battle of the PEDs. But we're not mean-spirited, so we won't make that observation. Where are you on this fight?
I mean, like Simon, listen to yourself. You just had to drop that in there.
I did.
I don't understand why you have to drop that there.
Because Ryan Garcia
all these guys
Ryan Garcia failed a drug test.
Hold on.
So did Conor.
Hold on. They failed. They've changed. They came back. They've been drug tested 24/7. Nothing in their system. You know, yeah, I mean, like, and you're still going on.
You want them, hang on, you can pack it in. You want people that have failed drug tests to be banned from sport, so don't you start.
But until they put a law in, if you get caught taking drugs, you're
so there's nothing wrong with me making the observation that I just made.
No, I mean, like, it's
don't get all moralistic. You want people banned from sport if they fail drug tests. But going on to the question, the bigger question, right? The bigger question. Yeah. A lot of people think that Conor has been wonderfully matched. Marvellously matched, made enormous amounts of money, which no one begrudges people making money. But it's been wonderfully matched to achieve that. Ryan Garcia, whatever we may or may not think about his performance against Tank Davis, is at a level that could possibly expose Conor Benn to what people think is that he's not at this level. What's your view on that? Do you think he gets exposed in this fight, Conor?
Listen, Conor's my pal, so I'm not going to sit here and try to mess up his name and that. This is a good fight for him. He's always wanted a big fight. Now he's getting it on what's called Mexico Independence Day, I believe so.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is exactly where the darkest rumor in recent boxing history comes into play. Fans, analysts, and insiders are utterly convinced that promoters are actively cooking up a way to bypass strict VADA protocols altogether. The financial risk of an 11th hour cancellation is just too high with these two track records. The word on the street is that they might exploit an unsanctioned exhibition format to sidestep the governing bodies entirely. A fight of this magnitude operating without rigorous, random drug testing is completely unheard of. But money talks, and a loophole like this guarantees the event goes ahead, no matter what happens in the laboratory. It's a shady contractual workaround that has everyone questioning the integrity of the entire business.
We know that Conor Benn failed the PED test, right? Now you understand why there's so many different types of performance-enhancing drugs. Some of them are for weight loss. Now you know why that is illegal.
Diuretics, things like that.
Yeah, now you know why that is illegal, because making weight is part of the fight. That's part of the struggle. That's part of your performance. Everything is off that. It's a calculated science, really losing that weight. But if you're going to cheat to lose weight, you and a lot of people that haven't fought may think, why is he just going to, he's cutting weight. That's part of the fight. So now you know why fighters are suspended when it comes to PEDs with weight. Conor Benn hasn't looked good in years. He hasn't knocked out anybody.
Well, he looked good against Eubank.
He didn't knock him out.
Well, no, but he beat
him. He wasn't
down.
knocking out guys like he was fighting, like he knocked out Chris Algieri.
Right. I agree with that. I'm saying he did look pretty good in that second fight with Eubank.
So look, before we used to talk about maybe it's because he's lacking something that he was putting in the system. Now you can actually say that it was that, and it's actually fluctuating weight. You can't be jumping around from weight to weight, going north and then coming back south, expecting to hold down and retain that muscle mass and that power and that strength and that confidence. I think we're seeing a little bit of all that with Conor Benn, and the writings on the wall. I think Ryan Garcia is really going to do a number on him.
Guys actually stepping into the ring and putting everything on the line have zero sympathy for this circus. Former world champion Regis Prograis delivered a brutal, unfiltered takedown of anyone using enhancements. He flat out said there is no maybe involved when someone gets caught with that shot in their system. Prograis expressed massive frustration over the delusion of fans who blindly make excuses for failed tests. To him, if you can't pass pro boxing's already incredibly lax testing programs, you are doing way too much behind the scenes.
A lot of promoters, a lot of fighters, just their thoughts on the whole Conor Benn situation and the fallout with that. You being a fighter, what do you make of that situation? How it was handled, and for you as a fighter, like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, it's terrible, bro. Listen, my coach told me this a long time ago. He was like, everybody cheating. I was like, bro, I don't believe that. Like, for me, it's so hard to, because I never, ever thought about doing that, never thought about none of that stuff. Never, I'm even scared to take certain protein shakes and stuff. People give me certain food, like, bro, I don't want to take that. I'm scared, like, something come up in my blood. So, for somebody, like, cheating stuff, I mean, from what I understand now, I'm starting to learn more. People saying it's a part of the sport, and that's sad to even say that, but like, bro, like how I don't know. I mean, one thing I don't know about Conor Benn too much, but one thing I heard about him, they said, when I went to the UK, he fought on undercard when I fought Josh Taylor, and so people was like, oh, he's not that good, and now he's just destroying people. He knocked out Chris Van Heerden bad, he knocked out Algieri. I mean, he's destroying these guys, and these guys, especially Chris Van Heerden. I know Chris, I sparred with Chris. And, he fought Errol, he fought Ennis, and they didn't do him like that. And Conor Benn just knocked them out cold. So, I mean, if he was doing it all the time, for the whole time, I don't know. But it's just another black eye on the sport.
I've been speaking with fighters, and they've said, like, yo, bro, like, a lot of people are cheating. And I'm kind of like, nah, there's no way. Like, so... Yeah?
Yeah, that's what I heard. My coach, my coach.
Do you feel people are, like, even in your division, or?
I can't say I feel people are, but, my coach been around this game for a long time, over 30 years, and he said, look, everybody cheating. I'm like, bro, I can't, I'm a historian, bro. I really just love boxing, and so it's hard for me to, like, imagine some of my favorite fighters to be cheaters, and he said some of my favorite fighters was cheaters. They was doing stuff that was, and so it just make me rethink my whole perception of boxing is just ruined if I feel like, oh, one of the legends I look up to is cheating. It kind of destroy it for me.
Yeah, man.
The pros are seeing right through the smoke and mirrors of these negotiations, and they are not staying quiet about the blatant disrespect to the sport.
The weight's a big issue. You know, Conor at 149, his last fight, he hasn't fought at 47 in 5 years. And, you know, he went up to 160 to fight Eubank in those two fights, put on some good size, some good mass, had a lot of trouble getting back down for the Prograis fight, did not look good at the scale, and that was at 149. 2 pounds is 2 pounds, but it's 2 pounds at the end of a weight cut. Yeah. How much do you think this plays a factor in this? You're a guy who you made weight recently. You understand what it's like to get back down, going back down in weight.
Yeah, it's I think it could be problematic for Conor. I don't think either way.
I think it's a huge issue. I think
either way he's not going to win the fight, but I think they'll probably use it as the, hey, you know, we didn't perform because of the weight type of thing. You know, I think it is. I mean, and in some ways it is going to weaken him. I do think that, but I think even the best Conor Benn gets knocked out by Ryan Garcia. But I do think that it's not going to help his cause either. Yeah, it's a difficult weight cut for him for sure.
Yeah,
I think that'll be used as, I won't say an excuse, but a reason for Conor.
But where does he go after that then? If he can't make
Beyond the testing drama, a secondary layer of manipulation is being fiercely heavily scrutinized by top boxing analysts. Viral footage has recently surfaced showing Conor Benn looking severely weight drained and physically compromised due to the intense demands of getting this fight made. Both of these guys are notorious for utilizing brutal rehydration clauses to trap their opponents. Garcia famously complained about a suffocating 10-pound rehydration limit when he fought Gervonta Davis, while Benn is known for demanding incredibly strict weight stipulations to secure a physical edge. When you combine a potential lack of drug testing with extreme weight manipulation, you are looking at a highly dangerous and engineered situation that goes far beyond a fair boxing match.
He said, yeah, it's hard, it's brutal. This will be my last fight at 147 pounds. When I win the world title, I'll move on. But for me, I haven't made 147 pounds for 4 years, so it's challenging. It's really hard. You think I went up to 183 pounds night of the fight for Eubank Jr. fight, you know, so it's hard. We're getting it, but we're getting it done. Right, so that's what Conor Benn has to say there. So, and look at those before and after pics. Like 183 pounds, okay, we'll take your word for it, but you're telling me, whereas hang on a second, you're telling me even with a rehydration clause, you packed on 23 pounds from the weigh-in. Okay. I believe you, thousands wouldn't. But still, if he is he looks noticeably leaner, you can see that. And for Conor Benn to be admitting that this is his last fight at 147 pounds, that tells me that, and essentially already saying that, you know, the struggle is real. People, that tells me that Conor Benn is already planning the excuses. Because if you think about it like this, how often do you hear fighters who go into a fight knowing they'll lose? Chavez Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez, prime example. They did that fight 9 years ago at 164.5 pounds. It was Canelo's official debut at middleweight, which was closer to super middleweight. And Chavez Jr., who really cruiserweight, you know, he was big at light heavyweight. For him to get down to that weight, even at that stage in his career, was seen as like, that's just unbelievably ambitious. And even in the build-up to the fight, when he looked an absolute skeleton on the scales, he looked awful, right? He didn't even try in that fight. Well, I'm saying he doesn't try most time, but you know what I mean? He had nothing left on fight night. Even still in the build-up, he was saying, yeah, I've made the weight comfy. I might even be able to do 160 pounds again. They don't want to give anything away. Even though they know probably not going to win this fight, probably it's a way too far, I've taken too much off, I still don't want to, one, give my opponent any more confidence than he already has. And I want to give the perception that, all right, look, I'm not expected to win. I'm the underdog. But without admitting to the world, you know, I'm really struggling, this is hard, I'm just going to act like, you know, it's nothing. You know,
hardcore fans are not letting this slide, and the mockery online is absolutely ruthless. Over on the main boxing subreddits, the idea of a no-test clause has turned into a massive viral joke. One of the top comments perfectly captured the chaotic mood, suggesting they just load Garcia up with Ostarine, pump Benn full of clomiphene, and let them clash like absolute science experiments. Twitter is blazing with furious debates about double standards. Fans are pointing out the wild hypocrisy of certain fighters getting their careers destroyed over failed tests, while others are rewarded with blockbuster pay-per-views. The public is fundamentally rejecting the legitimacy of this matchup, seeing it purely as a calculated cash grab.
I look sick now. And I told you guys on my Facts Friday that there's a difference between sweating and making weight and having to work the weight off. And you guys know Roy Jones Jr. is my favorite fighter of all time. I was a huge fanboy, and I always use him as an example. When Roy Jones Jr. moved down from heavyweight and he shrunk down in 3 months to light heavyweight, he was never the same since. If you look at Roy now, look at him right here. In his first fight against Tarver, his shoulders were so damn sloop and small and dehydrated and deflated. They couldn't even poke out of his robe. Look at him. No muscle definition, no teardrop, nothing. But look at him just 3 months prior when he built the muscle to become heavyweight. That dude looked like a damn Hercules. And he had to work all of those muscles off. He didn't just sweat and make weight and sweat off the fat and just shrunk down. No, muscle weighs more than fat. He had to shrink the muscle down. He had to cut muscle. Take it away from his reflexes, his speed, his power, all the things that made him Roy. I am concerned for Conor Benn. Conor Benn having to cut that muscle and stuff like that to fight Ryan Garcia, which he hasn't been at 147 in years. Listen to what he said here.
I can be making sure that I'm in the best nick when I go into the fight, and when I see an opportunity to knock him out, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, okay. And then
we have to seriously ask if boxing has reached a point of no return. Are we officially in an era where scandals, failed tests, and shady contracts actually generate more hype and sell more tickets than two clean fighters battling for legacy? The outrage is incredibly loud, but the internet engagement is undeniable. Whether it's sanctioned, an exhibition, or completely off the books, millions will inevitably tune in just to see the chaos unfold. What do you think happens if they actually fight without a single drug test? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because the landscape of combat sports might be changing forever.